On October 7th, 2013, my life changed. I was 18 years old and I left my home country never to look back. I'm really glad that I didn't know what was coming for me, because maybe I would have done things differently. Sometimes I think it's better not to know. Follow your heart, not your fear. At 18 years old, I don't think I had the capacity or the life experience to be as afraid as I probably would be today. I think as adults, we get very safe and secure in our place in life, like the partner that we're with, the job, the home. And it turns out that it is often our achievements that are holding us back. So I came to study in Germany and I had a basic plan, so I knew where I was going, but from there, I had to start everything else from the beginning. I decided that the environment and the people are what really mattered to me. So I wanted a place that would reflect who I am and amplify that. I went out, I bought a couple of things. I realized I don't have everything I need, but turns out it was okay because people gave me things. I got presents and hand-me-downs, and except for a couple of cold nights without a blanket, there really was nothing to worry about. But the question of friends was much more pressing. I had to make some friends, so I signed up for an internationals meeting the same week of my arrival. And that was a good choice. I made some friends that Friday and it really got things started for me. But then the semester started, and it wasn't long before I realized that I had chosen something that I didn't really like. I realized how crazy it was for me to think that I could make the right lifelong choices for me that fast at such a young age, including the decision of what to study and ultimately do for the rest of your life. It turns out that in choosing computer science, I chose something that is incredibly hard, especially in another language, something that I had no talent or aptitude for. And if I wanted to complete it that way, I had to study a lot, more than the others, a lot. And I did it. I studied every single day for hours, 5 years. And by the second semester, I was already going crazy and I was incredibly lonely. So I needed a solution, and I was very thankful that there are libraries out there, which was the place where I could combine a little bit of social contact with that everyday, morning to evening studying. And I think that is what saved my sanity and ultimately led me to succeed. So if you want to be happy, do not isolate yourself. I have always really placed the value on love and the people in my life. I think the only certainty that I will ever strive for is to have loving, constructive, productive relationships in my life, and that is what I need to keep me going. Nothing material can ever come close to that. And of course, not only with people, but also with my cat. Over the next few years, it was incredibly hard for me to study this subject, but I went through with it, not because this is what I wanted, but because I didn't believe that I could make a living doing something out of my passion, living through my artistic self and my expression. So I went through with it, I completed it, got my degree, and I made peace with it. That was 1 year ago. Since then, I have learned that you can truly do anything you set your mind to. Favorite Eminem quote. But the question is, should you? At 18, I think I thought that life was a series of success stories that I needed to complete in order to prove something to myself, to society, to my parents. But with time, I have come to realize that truly everything boils down to being happy, and the meaning of life is to be in a place where you are happy and you're having a good time. But that's not how people like to represent it outwards, and their outward representation is what is affecting you. So I think what we really need is not achievements, but that self-confidence to say that you want something, to believe in it, and to go for it.
Bravo.
because with enough creativity and self-confidence, you can get to that place where you're happy and to that place where you want to be. It's important to not only find out how to be a good person in society, but also how to be a good person to yourself. And realize that that person that you thought you were going to be when you were planning your whole life at 18 may not be the person that you are later, that you are today. And that's okay, because you don't need to have it all figured out from the start. See, when people plan things, they make prototypes, they make something that will work, and then they see what happens. So trust yourself to start and construct that prototype. Be a curious explorer and start with exploring yourself. And if you find something that you like, don't shun it before you try it. No matter what anybody else thinks, you can't know the possibilities that will arise from you giving it a go. And especially if it's something that you like. I knew that I wanted to come to Germany when I was 13 years old. So I learned the language. I was well prepared when I was here. And to me, that was the example of a well-executed plan, because I started with an idea, I did everything that I had to do for its success, and then I did it. But I have come to realize that in life, it is often the case that you cannot predict the outcome of a plan, as it evolves and mutates gradually when you're executing it. So there is no need to have a perfect plan, but there is a need to start and maybe fail fast, learn from things, and get a feeling for your goals and how you feel with the thing that you want to try and do. What is much better than sitting down and planning the whole road is to start walking and adjust your path. So go on and talk to people, see what happens, start somewhere and be able to move on, because things almost never play out the way that we expect them to. And especially when it comes to planning things from so far away, it's not good enough. If you really want something, you have to just give it a go. So there are things that you do differently when you're younger. You're more emotional, you plan more dynamically, and I have only found that to be a good thing. I can share this with you and I can start meaningful conversations that hopefully inspire you to be the best version of yourself, however cheeky that sounds. I hope this video was useful to you and that you will now go on and rock socks, and I'll see you next week.